Virginia team that was beat by North Carolina when these teams met exactly 2 weeks ago. And it was a strong start for the Tar Heels that helped set them on the right path, an 11-2 run early in that game. And here they win the opening tip. Ball, though, just dribbles off the foot of Lexi Dinarski. So a chance here for the Cavaliers to open the scoring.
Well, it's all about the kind of start that UVA comes out with. They want to start fast, and they already get a steal on that end. And it looks like they turn the ball over as well. Not so great for the UVA Cavaliers.
The Who's limiting turnovers, a big focus for this group. They had 22 when their loss to Pitt on Thursday. It's something that this staff has been focusing on with this group.
UVA in a man-to-man, they will often come out in a zone. I wonder how they will adjust in game, but this will be interesting, especially as there is a few mismatches and a great takeaway by Dinarski and finish and foul.
Lexi Dinarski getting the first basket of the game, the graduate student guard and Iowa State transfer. Head coach Courtney Banghart was very excited about bringing to this program.
Well, UVA does such a good job on the boards, gets away from Mo Johnson. Dinarski picks it up and puts the ball in. Excellent hustle to the offensive glass.
Dinarski, a player really good on both sides of the ball, the big, tall defensive player of the year. Johnson trying to go all the way up and out.
I like that look in transition, but Usby gets out on her own, almost a foul, but UVA comes down with it.
Usby, a player to keep an eye on. This Tar Heels offense runs through her so much. Also, she does so much in the glass, averaging more than 10.5 rebounds per game in ACC play, leading the league. Clark kicks it out. Corner three from Johnson, rattles home.
And that's what they want. Now they can set up in their full court pressure, but you've got to find shooters in transition. Dinarski will kill you if you leave her open.
A takeaway here for the Who's. This one off to Paris Clark, the Arizona transfer. Working down low, second chance, no foul called. And Brunelle right away working down low. She's strong. You pointed out that playing a little bit out of position, but how about that? Able to get her own board. Here's Usby right away trying to drive, but it's batted away by Clark.
Few quick turnovers for UNC, uncharacteristic of this very experienced group on the floor.
Who's here getting the ball right back. A couple of turnovers here early to start off this game. The officials on the call, by the way, Angelica Suffren, Talisa Green, and Ashley Gloss, an all-female officiating crew. Great to see as Johnson goes to the cup.
Well, we mentioned lane penetration for UVA. That's what guards want to do. They want to get to the rim. Already we've seen Mo Johnson twice being able to get all the way to the bucket.
Ducting, kicked it out. That corner three will go for Reniya King.
Well, there is not a faster growth process in the ACC, it seems, than what has happened with Reniya King. Not a starter back a few games ago, into the starting lineup now, and she continues to get better.
When Reniya King is in the lineup with the other starting four, this University of North Carolina team is 6-0. Gives you an idea of the type of impact she's had. But in talking to Coach Banghart, she pointed out the growth from Kelly, and she loves the work ethic that she brings and the maturity level for a freshman to be able to listen, take critiques, and then apply it right away.
Yeah, so she's always prepared. Almost another turnover by UNC, but she's low maintenance, and her progression has come very steadily as the season has progressed.
A tough shot rattles out. Kelly hit a career-high 10 points on 4-5 shooting from the floor against Miami. Right away looking inside. That one almost batted away. Tough battle going on between London Clarkson and Maria Ducting down low. Foul called as Usby tried to break through.
Yeah, the horn set, Sam Brunelle was open. Actually, she's been open a couple times, and Mo Johnson has just not been able to see her. When Sam Brunelle, if she can get hot early, that could be a game changer for this UVA team.
Brunelle, last year as a senior, averaged 11 points per game, 40% shooting from three, as Kelly says, I can shoot threes too.
Yeah, complete lapse on the defensive end. Nobody picked up Kelly.
3-point lead now for the Heels. trying to go all the way through, but a foul is called as Clark went through traffic.
Well, you get a good look of the scouting report that UVA has set to do against UNC. Get to the rim, guards, post, whatever it is. That lane has been open. UNC's got to do a better job of containing penetration.
North Carolina on a 6-0 run in the last minute and change. Virginia looking to end that. Clark going to the charity stripe. Makes the first, just under an 83% free throw shooter. She's also dangerous from deep, shooting 35.5%. Coming off a 7-point performance against Pitt as she makes the second. But another player who's continued to grow and get some comfortability coming in as an Arizona transfer. She's just a sophomore, so also very young, still finding herself in the collegiate game. But was a McDonald's All-American and New York Gatorade Player of the Year, who this team is very high on.
Yeah, she had a great preseason, her coach told us, and big-time three by Donarski. That's just rotation. You've got to get out to shooters. When the ball goes into the post, you've got to make sure that you fan out to find players, and you've got to know where Donarski is as soon as she crosses the half-court line.
Donarski separates 11-7, and then it's a turnover on the other end for Virginia.
7 combined turnovers already in this game.
Both teams going to be looking to tighten that up. Now this North Carolina team, not one that typically turns the ball over a ton. They're averaging just over 12 per game. That's among the top in the ACC. As they try to get to Usby, she does square up. Usby on the turnaround gets it to go.
A really good initial defense by Clarkson, I thought. She contained her, got to the spot early, but Usby with a good turnaround finish. And now North Carolina in a zone of their own, and they have been active.
Johnson too strong. North Carolina 3 for 3 their last several trips down the floor. Kelly says, I'll do it again.
You got to know
16-7 lead for North Carolina. Quick timeout called as this Virginia team is going to look to stop the bleeding. It's a 16-7 lead for the Heels.
She's a thief.
Moss talked about how important this was for her team, and we've heard from her team, and they said this has been so pivotal, what these players have been able to speak into their lives. They know what it's like to have a UVA uniform on, and they were able to offer so much advice and encouragement, and this is a program that's as prominent as any in the ACC, and this is a team that wants to get back to hanging up banners in this wonderful John Paul Jones Arena.
Head coach Amako Gugwa Hamilton, also known as Coach Mox, also talked about how much these players embrace the opportunity to bring this program back to what it was. That's the legacy that they want to leave behind. And you look at her bringing in freshmen like Olivia McGee and Kymora Johnson, who are locals. They understand what that means. They grew up watching this program. They know the history here, and it does mean a lot to them to be a part of a turnaround for this Virginia program.
Well, and Coach Mox told us it actually started with that first recruit that she was able to sign. It was Sam Brunelle out of Notre Dame, and this is, everyone knows who Sam Brunelle is all across the country. So when she was able to commit to Coach Mox, gain reputation with that, those freshmen were able to come and say, hey, if Sam Brunelle is going to come, I'm going to trust you as a coach. By the way, Chelsea Shine, a former UVA Cavalier, also an analyst for us as well. So great to see her in attendance with a little baby she's holding.
So many notable alumni here. It's just awesome to see that sense of camaraderie and the pride these players have. Unfortunately, the shot late in the shot clock wouldn't go for Virginia. Now they got to defend on the other end. Nice ball movement. Off glass, though, too strong.
But excellent rotation on the defensive end. That's what UVA needs more of.
Johnson here pulling the ball back out. The freshman guard mentioned it. She's a local out of Charlottesville. Had an incredible high school career at St. Anne Belfield. Was a McDonald's All-American, 2-time Virginia Gatorade Player of the Year. She gets it back. 8 to go on the shot clock. Nice pass. Clarkson in traffic, spinning, no. Over a 2-minute scoring drought now for the Hoos. An 8-0 run for the Tar Heels. Dang loses the handle a little bit, kicks it out, extra pass. Usby working down low, off glass, foul called.
Good patience by North Carolina to wait for the best shot. Passed up the good shots to get the best shots. Usby comes into traffic, picks up the foul, and that could be pivotal too, because without Cam Taylor, UVA is down in the post as you see Lauterbach on her way in for substitution, but UVA needs to make sure they stay out of foul trouble if they want to keep up with this North Carolina team.
Staying out of foul trouble going to be very important. Cam Taylor, who's not in the game, a player who's been afflicted by that, and it's disrupted the rhythm of the team a little bit. You never want one of your key pieces to have to spend a lengthy time on the bench due to fouling. Now, shutting down Alyssa Usby, something that Coach Mox mentioned, is going to be very important because beyond just her ability to score, she also is such a good facilitator. Looking at her numbers, averages more than 12.5 points, 9.5 rebounds per game, also 3.5 assists, and then she does it on the defensive end with 37 steals and 28 blocks.
Yeah, leads her team in just about every category but scoring. Rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. I mean, she is a phenomenal player. She's been one of my favorites in the ACC since she came to campus. She was an underrated recruit out of Minnesota, which is my home state, so I love her. And she also wearing #1 in honor of Taylor Coonan, also a former Minnesota player that wore a UNC jersey, but just continue to elevate her game year after year.
Well, that begs the question, how do you shut Usby down as Johnson's up in traffic? Usby's there. How do you shut Usby down when she's able to do so many things and has that versatility?
Well, and she's not a three-point shooter, so that's where you have to know scouting report. You don't defend her on the three-point line, so you got to play her for that mid-range game or drive, and UVA comes up with another steal, or excuse me, UNC rather, a turnover. Good defense by the Cavaliers.
4 turnovers apiece now for both North Carolina and Virginia.
North Carolina continuing to change up their defenses, making UVA have to really focus, and that is a good steal in that front line of the 2-3.
Navarre goes the other way. What a move.
Everything but the finish for Navarre. Good quick hands on the defensive end. She's been a player that has also continued to get better, coming off the bench early and has a great skill set.
Navarre, a Stanford transfer, talked about how much it meant to her to come back home. Now, she's from Apex, North Carolina, so outside the Raleigh area, not necessarily home, but in her home state. Certainly a shorter drive and trip for her family to come see her versus flying all the way across the country to California. Nice little runner there from Johnson.
And the quick defensive stop by Smith forces a turnover. Great heads-up play to pick up early.
Virginia finally able to end an 11-0 North Carolina run here in quarter #1. Now they get the ball back on the baseline, but India Navarre, a great addition to this North Carolina group. Had a quiet day against Miami in their game on Thursday, just 1 point, but averages more than 7 per game. Foul called down low.
The drive along the baseline forces 3 defenders to come around Lauterbach, and as she tries to scoop it in, gets fouled.
Graduate Student Center, Taylor Lauterbach, a transfer from Kansas State. Graduated in 3 years, by the way, which I think is worth being mentioned because that's tough to do.
Well done. Took me the full 4, I'll tell you that.
Right, exactly. It took me a 4 and change, so, not going to say anything more about that. But came out of Appleton West High School, was an 85th ranked prospect back in the class of 2020, but primarily a reserve role in her years at K-State, but still brings in a lot of experience.
And I think it'll be important on the defensive end with how she can protect the rim. That time, Usby got all the way to the bucket. That's what she does so well. Very quick first step.
Usby now with 7 points, 1 board, 1 assist.
By the way, David Kelly has yet to score in this game. Others have stepped up, which is great.
Johnson, nothing but net.
Good look by Kymora Johnson. You got to guard her heavily on that 3-point line, and there goes Deja Kelly on cue with her first 2.
The reverse broadcaster's jinx.
There it is.
We're talking about how she hasn't scored, but what a sign for this North Carolina team, the fact that they have the depth early in the game when she's not scoring to get out to a 10-point lead.
And Courtney Banghart loves to hear that, the word depth. This is a team that has been riddled with injury this season, last season as well, so she's just thankful to have a pretty healthy roster, although still missing Kayla McPherson and Paulina Paris.
Otterbach able to come up with the rebound. 2 to go on the shot clock. Last chance. In traffic was Alexia Smith, the senior. And she does draw the foul. Going to the line is senior guard Alexia Smith. Transferred after 2 seasons at Minnesota. This is her second year with Virginia. Averaged more than 5.5 points and 4 boards per game. 58 assists as well. A 1.4 plus assist to turnover ratio. So you look at the decision making there. Now CW Courtside Saturday continues this week with an exciting doubleheader. First it's off to Raleigh as NC State tries to keep pace in the ACC race as they host Virginia Tech. And it's prime time. It's a showdown in Winston-Salem as Syracuse visits Wake Forest. CW Courtside Saturday this week at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific, only on the CW.
Beautiful finish by Key. Shows us a little bit of her post versatility, putting the ball on the floor, going against Lauterbach.
Richard sophomore Tierney Key, a player who has been riddled with injuries, as you pointed out. This team has missed a lot of players due to injury, but she missed a number of early games, didn't play until December 15th against Western Carolina. Redshirt sophomore guard forward out of Cary, North Carolina. Takes some time when you come back from a lengthy absence to get the confidence going, to get the chemistry going. Smith there misses the free throw with 37 to go.
And you mentioned chemistry. That's something Coach Banghart was speaking very highly of her group and the chemistry on this team. In fact, she noted that those transfers coming in, actually, you know, it's hard to integrate transfers sometimes, but these transfers in particular, India Navarre being one, have been such a big part of helping this chemistry get to the level that it's at.
Navarre checking out as she was called for her second foul. Just about a 7-second differential now between the game clock and shot clock. That one won't go though.
She feeling confident.
Shot clock off as Johnson pulls it back out. Virginia looking for the last shot just before the first quarter break. Eight to go. Pass deflected out of bounds.
Active hands on that front line of the 2-3 zone. We've already seen a steal earlier, now a deflection.
Not a ton of movement there for Virginia. 3 to go. Smith, no. Kelly the rebound, no time though as the buzzer expires. First quarter action in the books. North Carolina off to a 9 in the first quarter to jump out to an early lead in that game. Shooting just about 60% from the field right now. What can this Virginia defense do as there's a scramble on the floor, jump ball called to try to slow them down?
Well, they've got to have better perimeter defense. They're giving up. They've already given up 4 threes in this game. Their rotations have been good in sequences, but they have to really, again, know that scouting report, know who the shooters are, fan out to shooters. They just have to do a better job in overall team defense, good communication.
Kelly here with the ball as Virginia turned it over on that last possession, trying to get it to Gotting, touched away by Clark.
Yeah, great tip, and then Smith on the pass there. And UNC has done a much better job at eliminating those paint touches that we saw UVA get to the rim very early. Now that paint differential is 12-4 in favor of UNC.
Getting touches in the paint, something that Coach Mox and Coach Banghart both pointed out they feel like are important, because for Coach Mox, she wants the ball to be moving. She wants her team to be able to find the right looks, force the defense to collapse on the penetration to find open shooters. As McGee misses everything, Usby comes up with it. But she feels like sometimes her players can get a little bit impatient. Sometimes that comes with the youth as well, where they're hunting their own shot instead of just letting the ball do the work.
Yeah, and you know, you look at things like assists. Right now, they only have 4 made field goals, but they've assisted on 3 of those, so that's good. The problem is that they're not making shots. 27% And an offensive foul by Gakdang inside as Nguyen falls to the floor.
Yeah, that's a little bit of what this Virginia team has been dealing with all season long, is their offense hasn't been incredibly efficient, shooting 38% from the field, which is last in the ACC, just over 28% from three, averaging just over 73 points per game. And something Coach Mox has talked about is shot selection being an issue, but then also, in some cases, shots just not falling.
You know, that the bad part about the hot start for UNC and other teams is that it gives the other teams confidence, right? So UVA then, we thought they were coming out to a good start. Well, then they could not finish shots. So now UNC are on pace to score 100 points in this game right now. And UVA's got to dig down and do the things that they can control, which is on the defensive end.
Coach Mox has talked about her team needing to bring intensity right from tip-off. It's something that's been a little bit of a challenge for this group. Kelly's three-pointer is too strong, but it's an O-board from Usby. She goes up herself, gets it off the glass.
Usby does such a good job of tracking down those offensive rebounds and then goes so strong to the bucket. She has put in a lot of time in the weight room, honing that body and just the physical presence that you see on the court as a result.
Great defensive play. Kelly pushing. She'll pull it back out, slow it down. Good decision there. The pull-up, nice shot. Reniya Kelly, the freshman, going off in this game. She's now in double digits in scoring, and she's coming off a career-high 10 points. She now has a career-high 11 in this one. Timeout on the floor. North Carolina leads 29-16.
Rachel, you okay?
No. I live with a broken phone.
It's really crucial in that position, and the goal that I've set for myself is I'll know if I've done my job, if I leave here and I can come back and see that the culture is still standing time and the girls are all valued and seen, and they're just having a great overall experience.
Alyssa Usby was just named one of 10 finalists for the Cheryl Miller Award, which recognizes the nation's best small forward, and she certainly belongs in the conversation, stuffing the stat sheet night in and night out. As Brunelle tries for a three. Rebound brought in by Poole.
Well, her coach said it's her discipline that sets her apart from other players. It's her time in the weight room. She takes care of hydration, her sleep. Coach said if she texts her after 10 p.m., she knows she's not getting a return text, because that is a big part of how she stays ready and focused. Told us actually at the COVID year in the ACC tournament, she brought her own blender and frozen fruit so that she could stay healthy and have all the calories she needed to perform at a high level.
I love those stories because discipline doesn't even begin to describe as Johnson makes a deep three.
But you cannot lose track of Usby in the open court.
Kelly offline. Rebound just hits off of Johnson. She couldn't get it under control, showing some frustration.
So Donarski's there, but you don't go under the screen on a player like Kymora Johnson. Good looking shot.
Johnson actually came into this game shooting just 26.5% from three, but she's been heating up recently, and a player who can knock it down from outside, you pointed out, cannot go under the screen, regardless of what that number is on paper.
Yeah, especially coming off, 2 games ago, that 35-point performance. This is a player that can put up a lot of points and is playing with confidence.
Johnson fired up as she draws the foul. Offensive foul, so Virginia gets the ball back.
Well, and this is also what separates her. A lot of players can come out and have great offensive games, but Johnson is very committed on the defensive end as well. Gets a stop for her team. Let's see if they can score on this one.
You pointed out that scoring outburst. The reigning ACC Rookie of the Week, also USBWA National Freshman of the Week, after averaging 25.5 points, 7.5 boards, 6.5 assists, as Brunelle knocks one down.
And so that is what UVA has needed. And as I said, when Brunelle was in earlier, it was there. They've just got to find her on the open look from the three-point line.
Johnson's performances, by the way, against a ranked Notre Dame team at the time and Florida State team. So this is high-quality competition that she was putting up those types of numbers against. Kelly draws the foul, goes to the ground. Appears to be in some pain.
Sam Brunelle, first the drive, and then the defense collapses to the paint. The kick is wide open, and Sam Brunelle does not just bring consistency, she also is such an energy player. You want her on the floor when she's doing well because other players can feed off the energy she brings.
Brunelle has the ability, too, to knock it down beyond the arc, shooting just over 32% from deep on the season, but shot 40% from three last year before suffering a season-ending injury 21 games in.
Yeah, she has battled injuries all through her career, and she knows she's not playing the best basketball that she can, but she is doing what she needs to do for her team. And today, it means a dominant post presence on the defensive end and hopefully some more three-point shooting on out.
Virginia with a chance to cut the lead to 6 or 5 with this possession here. Still very much in it halfway through quarter number 2. Clark traveled on that little hesitation.
I actually thought Brunelle had an open look at the top of the three, and having just made one, figured she'd put it up again, but the three has been open.
Kelly. Poole working down low, no. Pushing is Johnson. Johnson will pull it back out and call a set. Finds Brunelle off the screen, got it!
The high ball screen, now you've got 2 shooters to contend with. How do you defend it? They go and double on Johnson and leave Brunelle wide open.
5-point ball game. Virginia on a 9-1 run in the last 2 minutes and change. Kelly tries to end that, but her shot won't go. Johnson pushing. Good transition D there from North Carolina. How about Sam Brunelle? He's a very, very highly touted recruit at a high school, McDonald's All-American, Virginia Gatorade Player of the Year, and she hits the three as the whistle blows. Frustration, though, as the foul is called. The ball will go the other direction.
Oh, this crowd is not liking the call. The foul is called on Paris Clark. Before the shot went up, they say, although they are deliberating.
That'll be Clark's second. And the off-ball foul. Conversation happening here.
This play is under review for
officiating crew is going to take another look at that last play. Paris Clark off ball called for the foul as Sam Brunelle fired up the three-pointer.
And so they'll be looking at timing here. Was the whistle blown before that shot went up? Yeah, I don't see the foul. I know what she's doing. She's running through to obviously set a screen, but as she's moving, the officials make that call.
Brunelle getting the start, has 6 points, 4 rebounds, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. Pointed out she was a very highly touted recruit coming out of high school. She's also played with USA basketball at various youth levels, U16 to U18, and is a 3-time gold medalist. She brings in that international experience as the fans are letting the officiating crew hear it as no basket is the call.
And it's disappointing because UVA is on a run. They need those points more than ever as they are just 5 points behind a team that was up significantly in the first quarter.
Oh, what a play! Nguyen with the block. Johnson once again runs into the North Carolina defense. Something Coach Motz mentioned is this Virginia team wants 20 plus in transition. Minimum is Clark gets the and one.
And now you're worried about shooters, so you fan out and defend the three-point line, leaving the lane open for Clark to get to the rim. First it starts on the defensive end. Nguyen with the block, receives it, and then Paris Clark takes the drive down the lane, picks up the foul and the finish.
Paris Clark sinks the free throw. Virginia right there now, going toe-to-toe with 20th ranked North Carolina. If there was a day for this team to earn a huge upset, this would be it in front of so many alumni, the anniversary of 50 years of Cavaliers basketball. And in the second quarter, we have ourselves a 2-point ball game. Pressure mounting for this North Carolina team. How did they respond? And it's a steal. Johnson gets the layup. Tie game in Charlottesville. Timeout called by North Carolina head coach Courtney Banghart, trying to figure out how to turn things around. It's an 8-0 run for the Hoos right now.
Well, twice it started on the defensive end. Kymora Johnson deflects, gets the steal, goes all the way to the rim, and UNC has to call a timeout. This place is on their feet.
Johnson has scored or assisted on 4 of the last 5 baskets. She is putting this team on her back and willing them back into this game. And something you asked Coach Mox about was when runs happen. It happens naturally in the game of basketball. When another team is on a run, who is it that this team looks to respond, to get the group back on track? And she kind of mentioned that's something they've been trying to figure out as the season went on. There hasn't been maybe one player who's able to galvanize the group and take over games, but Kymora Johnson is proving she can be that player.
Well, and you think about Cam Taylor, who is the veteran on this team, so she's not on the floor. Now all eyes are on Mo Johnson, which I think should be, as the point guard, the person to take on the load.
Gakting under pressure, down low, gets the roll. North Carolina back on top.
Good play to silence this crowd. Gakting, it's double team, still able to finish.
That post matchup, something to keep an eye on. Gakting had 13 points in their game against Miami. Corner 3 is good. Katie Pauley knocks it down.
She is the 3-point specialist.
Double team, triple team, Gakting in trouble. It's out of bounds.
The strength of Mo Johnson to get her hand on the ball after it looked like it was going to be tied up. The double inside, then Johnson with her hand on the ball and the hustle. Actually almost wondering if that should not have been UNC ball. Looked like it went off of UVA.
Cavaliers get the ball back though with a chance here to extend their 1-point lead.
You got to penetrate this zone, make the defense shift.
Johnson going to pull it back out. 6 on the shot clock. Brown inside, too strong. Must be the board.
Brown had Pauley on the far side 3. Just didn't see her.
That's where Coach Mox maybe sees some tweaking in shot selection as Donarski's 3 rattles out.
Well, because UVA's on this run, UNC is starting to panic a little bit. They're putting up very quick shots. This is a team that has done really well. 9 assists already in this game.
Want to look to continue to keep the ball moving. 2 minutes to play before the halftime break. That one batted away. Brunelle, right idea. Couldn't quite connect on the pass.
And they're saying that it was tipped off of UNC and will remain UVA ball.
Virginia maybe got a lucky one there, but they'll get it back in on the baseline. 7 on the shot clock. Pauley. 3 to go. Wrap-around pass, shot won't go.
Great look by Johnson. Could barely see it off the ball screen.
Gakting puts it up and in.
And really good job in transition for Usby to take the ball up fast up the court. Gakting runs with her as a recipient of a great pass.
Johnson, not just a scorer, also can distribute, averaging more than 5 assists per game. That last look, really well done. And there's another great pass. Brunelle finishes.
UNC fanning out to the shooters, and that leaves the inside wide open for the high-low look.
What a ball game. Virginia now leads by 1 with just over 1 to go before half. Foul called as Kelly was trying to get around Odessa Noyan.
And Johnson with a high entry pass. That's what you want to do against the zone. And then the high-low look. Brunelle is inside with the easy two.
Nguyen called for her second. She'll check out. Pressure mounting for this North Carolina team that built up a nice lead after the first quarter, but this second quarter, Virginia has overtaken this game.
And Sam Brunelle relied on heavily right now to defend inside against the much taller Gakdang. She does a good job of poking that ball away.
Virginia has forced North Carolina to turn it over 10 times. They average 12 in a game. As Usby can't get it to go. Almost runs down the rebound, scramble on the floor. Heels come up with it. Kelly pulls up from the free throw line, no.
Great box out by Clarkson inside.
About an 8-second differential here between the game clock and shot clock just before half. Coach Mox yelling out some instructions to her team, what they want to go with here. Six to go. Brown gets it to go.
Not who you'd think would take that shot, but Brown was wide open off the ball screen on the high post.
3 to go. North Carolina trying to get off the last shot. Kelly can't get it in time. Waved off before it hit the rim, and how about for
shoot the ball outside and then also defend inside the paint.
Brunelle starting off in the second half. 7 on the shot clock. Nice pass. Misses everything. Clark runs it down. 2 on the shot clock. Johnson heaves it. Oh my goodness! Kymora Johnson is a bucket.
Oh, the bench for UVA was all on their feet and mouths agape. Just could not believe that shot, but a quick foul on this side really quiets the crowd. Hardly even had a look at the basket. Looks over at her bench, and the response, look at that. That's how you know that you're on the home court.
Virginia now with a 6-point lead after a spectacular shot from Kymora Johnson. She has 18. Three-pointer is true for Reniya Kelly, the freshman, stacking up points as well. Every basket she scores now is a new career high.
That's right. The way she's playing, we could be up in the 20s by the end of this game, but she has just continued to elevate her game, and she has been so much fun to watch as this young kid, another freshman we're talking about in the ACC.
Oh, what a pass and one opportunity for London Clarkson.
Drive into the paint, forces the defense to shift, and then Paris Clark finds Clarkson inside for the finish and the foul. This UVA team is pumped up right now, and everything going right.
This Virginia team rolling. Clarkson with her first 3 points of the game. Graduate student forward. Transferred in prior to last season from Florida State. Has played well, though, in ACC play going back to last year. Came in off the bench. The back-to-back 15-point games against Syracuse and Virginia Tech as Dinarski's 3 is too strong. So a player who knows how to step up with this level of ACC competition. 43-36, Virginia now holding on to the lead with a chance to extend. Little misplay there. Looks like Clark just lost her footing maybe.
And Coach Mox encouraging her team to shift the ball. She wanted a ball rotation to the other end of the floor to cause the defense to have to move. Right now, UVA cannot get stuck at just passing along the perimeter without any penetration inside that zone.
All right, Kelly continuing to run the point, as you just saw the scoring leader so far for North Carolina, but she is a player who continues to develop more confidence, and that's been evident today. Every time she shoots the balls, Gakdang double-teamed. Takeaway for the Hoos. Clark, all the way to the basket, draws the foul.
It starts on the defensive end, though, with Brown coming in to double. I thought that Brunelle had done a really good job of staying in place. Excuse me, Clarkson coming in, and then Paris Clark comes up with the steal and the run out. This UVA team has been committed on the defensive end, and we talked about that. When you can't score, you have to be able at least to commit on defense, and that has been the change in this game for UVA.
Clark hits the first free throw, shooting just under 83% from the stripe coming into this game. She's another one who's really put her stamp on this game. She's come up with a number of clutch plays as she makes the second. And she looks to be playing with more confidence than early on in the season. North Carolina needs a response now, down by 9. Virginia really controlling things here in this third quarter. Kelly, no. Second chance. Plenty of time in the corner, and that'll do it for Navarre.
Navarre wide open, and better rotation by North Carolina to get the ball moving, and they're playing with a very short lineup right now. Let's see if UVA can take advantage inside. Yeah, that's a mismatch between Brunelle and Kelly inside.
8 on the shot clock. Johnson. Corner 3, offline. Usby the rebound, miscommunication. Couple of collisions, the foul is called. This North Carolina team looking a little bit frenetic. They have 11 turnovers that really could have been 12 had there not been a collision due to that miscommunication.
Yeah, just in the wrong place at the wrong time is Paris Clark. It looked like she was about to get it, or excuse me, Brown. It looked like she was about to get that steal. But, you know, you're going back to that. This is a team where players do step up. You've got Deja Kelly, you've got Usby, but you're right. Right now, there is a lot of confusion, and again, a turnover on the offensive end.
Johnson goes up, gets the layup. Virginia rolling in Charlottesville, 47-39 the lead.
Really good job of containment on the defensive end, keeping those players in front of you, not forcing the help to come.
Deep 2 goes for Reniya King. Well, how about the freshman?
Yeah, might she be the player to step up? I mean, only as a freshman with all these veterans around her, but she's been the one who's been scoring consistently.
Kelly also 3 boards, 2 assists. Then taking on that role, running the offense, and that's not something easy for a freshman to step into. As Johnson draws the foul on the other end.
And I think that UVA should have looked to get the ball inside to Clarkson. She had a smaller defender on her, was posting up hard, but either way, Donarski now with another foul, and that could, the way that North Carolina rather has been fouling as of late could become a problem as this team doesn't go too deep necessarily into their bench.
8 players competed in their game on Thursday, and as we pointed out earlier, this is a team that's dealt with injuries. Paulina Paris not able to play in today's game. The sophomore guard didn't play last weekend as well, was starting prior to that. Was the ACC Freshman of the Week. Last season had a career-high 22 points in a win at Clemson. She's a player who knows how to perform at ACC level, but she's a key one that this team is missing.
Cam Taylor not a fan of that call by the officials. Thought it was supposed to be UVA ball.
Another backcourt piece missing. Kayla McPherson out for the season, a player who's been plagued by injuries, has a knee issue that is going to require surgery. So this North Carolina team healthier than they've been in a recent stretch, but still not at 100%. 5 on the shot clock. Kelly in traffic draws the foul.
I don't mind that take by Kelly, but utilize Usby in that scenario. Not an outside shooter, so put her in those dribble handoff or the ball screen situations with Deja Kelly. Make the defense have to make a decision. You either get a roll or you get the pop by Kelly. There is a lot of options that I don't think UNC is taking advantage of right now.
Paris Clark called for her 3rd foul with still 5.5 to go here in this 3rd quarter, so something to keep an eye on, her possibly being in foul trouble. As Deja Kelly makes the 2nd free throw, shooting just under 68% from the stripe on the season, but she has had a quiet day, not a name that we've said nearly as much as usual. Kelly just with 5 points. She's 1 of 6 from the floor, 0 for 2 from beyond the arc.
And now man-to-man defense by UNC. They continue to shift, and Mo Johnson finally getting into a set.
Clarkson going up in traffic, foul called. 7 seconds on the shot clock. And it's going to be an offensive foul. The charge called going the other way.
Well, the high pick and roll has worked in previous times for UNC. Clarkson just needs to be able to turn and set her feet. You got to see the defense in front of you before you decide to make your move.
Navarre fired up. Smart play by the sophomore guard. Now it's just a 5-point lead. Usby in traffic called for the travel. Virginia holding on to that 5-point lead. This third quarter, though, really becoming a battle. Do the North Carolina Tar Heels have enough to respond? More action in just a moment.
Yeah, I always
I
love seeing Notre Dame beat UConn. That's always a lot of fun, and Hannah Hidalgo just continues to be so impressive. They were phenomenal. Hit 55% from the field as a team, did University of Notre Dame, and just a big win, especially after losing another one to Syracuse prior.
We'll look at some of the other scores around the ACC in this Sunday action. Syracuse trailing 19th ranked Virginia Tech in the third quarter. 'Cuse atop the standings right now, tied with North Carolina, but Virginia Tech a team that could creep up on you. They're very talented. They bring back their leaders from a season ago when they made their Final Four run. It seems like they may be starting to click at the right time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They are in the middle of some injuries. Amor was out for a while. She's back. We also, there were some other injuries in the game that they had, so they're not necessarily at full strength. But Syracuse, one of the hottest teams right now in the ACC, and I would put UNC in that category as well. Just the trajectory is going in the right direction, and every game, no game is safe right now in the ACC. I think that is the mantra of every player and coach.
As Clarkson hits the free throw, making this a 6-point lead for Virginia. North Carolina certainly one of the hottest teams, coming off of 4 straight wins, including a huge one over ranked Louisville. As Dinarski goes inside, draws the foul.
Dinarski, good drive with her left, going down the lane. Nobody comes over to pick her up, and that's, again, you talk about defending one-on-one so that your help side doesn't have to come over and the rotation doesn't have to take place, but Dinarski did a much better job. Mo Johnson still doesn't know what she did on that, but foul was called nonetheless.
Johnson with her second. Dinarski, the graduate student guard out of La Crosse, Wisconsin, 80% free throw shooter.
Well, she was a big pickup for Courtney Banghart in the transfer portal. Fantastic three-point shooter, and when you add a shooter like that, it just opens up your offense so much.
Foul called off ball as Clark was dribbling. And now both teams in the bonus. She'll go to the line for 2. It's interesting, something that Coach Banghart mentioned is that last year North Carolina played Iowa State, where Lexi Dinarski was playing at, and she said they didn't have a relationship previously in terms of a lot of times with the transfers, you might get a player who you were recruiting out of high school, didn't end up going to your school, but then decide they want a change of scenery a couple years down the line. For example, like India Navarre, who was a North Carolina Gatorade Player of the Year. Tuesday on Inside the NFL, the guys take a look back at Conference Championship Sunday and take the first look at the Super Bowl matchup Inside the NFL Tuesday at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central on the CW. Something interesting Coach Banghart said, though, is it's almost like speed dating with some of these transfers. You got to try to develop that relationship so quickly if you did not previously recruit them and have that established. That was the case with Lexi Dinarski, but she said when they played against her, she loved what she brought on the floor, the intensity, the ability defensively, and the shot making makes her such a threat. Travel called on the other end, so it's going to be a turnover.
And here's where North Carolina has to start trying to make their move. UVA has had a few self-inflicted wounds. North Carolina needs to continue to penetrate. You just saw Dinarski do it. Kelly is so good at getting into the paint. Maybe Reniya Kelly also on the drive. And there it goes, Deja.
draws the foul, and she is a player who on the drive does that quite often, gets to the free throw line more than any other player in the ACC. Did it 10 times in their Thursday matchup against Pitt. And she'll go to the line for 2.
And UNC as a team has only been to the line 8 times as opposed to 18 for UVA, so just not attacking as much as we're watching the Who's.
Kelly misses the first. Kelly, just under a 68% free throw shooter, misses the second. McGee the rebound.
UNC as a team, not a great free throw shooting team, just 66% from the free throw line.
That's something that can come back to bite you, especially in tight ACC games. So often when you get into these one-possession games, nice pass, Clarkson puts it in.
Well, Brunelle is doubled at the top of that screen. Great play by Coach Mox. And then wide open inside as Reniya Kelly misses on that one.
So the heat check there for the freshman. Pushing here are the Who's. Clark misses from the baseline. Navarre in transition. Nice pass. Usby lays it up and in.
UVA needs better transition defense there. Only a couple were back, and UNC able to pick it apart, finds an open look.
Virginia, a team that wants to be able to get transition baskets, as Brunelle shot is too strong, but also has to be able to defend in transition, something that Coach Mox mentioned is going to be important for this team.
They're going to call Clarkson on that foul. I don't agree with that one. She was tipping it out. And now both teams, as you mentioned, in the bonus. But again, it goes back to the free throw percentage for UNC. This is to UVA's advantage potentially.
Navarre now going to the line to shoot 2. Just under a 55% free throw shooter makes the first. Mentioned she's been instrumental off the bench this season. Navarre has more than 7 points and 4.5 boards per game. While also racking up 29 steals coming into this one.
Picks up her own rebound off the free throw miss.
Kelly inside, an acrobatic shot rolls.
The spin on that ball was perfect. It hung on the rim. I thought for sure it was rolling off. What a finish by Kelly. Incredible.
North Carolina now trailing by just 3. Kelly has 17 to lead the Tar Heels.
She's picking a great time to continue her dominance. And Nguyen with the 3 off the ball screen. That has been money for UVA. Cam Taylor, all about it.
Nguyen, speaking of picking a great time, knocks down a shot just when this team needed it as Kelly breaks through, draws the contact.
Here's the drive inside, gets through the defense, probably went around 4 defenders right there, somehow gets that roll. Look at this off the top of the rim, just stood there. That was incredible, and then the kick out, Nguyen steps behind the 3-point line and knocks it down, and the Who's are happy.
I love the celebration. And you know what, though? That bench energy is contagious.
Yes.
And when you're a team that has gone through some hard times, it's a young group coming into this one at 1-7 in conference play. They had a tough game against Pitt where Coach Mox was really disappointed in the team's intensity and energy. It can mean a lot when you've got people screaming their heads off on the bench, lifting each other up.
As well as these fans in this John Paul Jones arena. They do such a good job at continuing to elevate their attendance, and that time they're going to call UVA with the offensive foul.
Something to keep an eye on is London Clarkson in that last possession called for her 4th foul. She has 8 points. She's gotten to the line 5 times, 2 rebounds. She's an instrumental piece of this Virginia team, and their post presence is there's a crafty finish from Usby.
So definitely a big height differential with Lauterbach against Usby, but no question that all Usby has to do is take Lauterbach off the dribble. That was an easy 2.
Under a minute to play here in quarter number 3. Clark through traffic. Oh, what a finish.
I'm not sure how much longer Coach Mox can keep Taylor on the bench. She's going to have to get, or excuse me, Johnson on the bench. Wow, just a lapse there.
Sure, it's a Sunday, it's early, it happens.
Sure she'd like Taylor on the floor as well.
Now Navarro's going to go to the line to shoot 2. 5-point ball game with under a minute to play. Navarro, though, pointed out, under a 55% free throw shooter. These are the ones that matter. You've got to hit these to provide that separation as she makes the second.
She's putting in some great minutes off the bench for UNC. 8 points, as you mentioned, and this is a team that is very balanced.
Just about a 15-second differential between the game clock and shot clock. Quarter number 3 winding down. Virginia holding just a 3-point lead now. Smith, 8 on the shot clock. The finish off the glass.
And with Nguyen and Lauterbach in the post, these are not starters. These aren't even the first off the bench in terms of the post normally, but they have come in and played some good minutes for Coach Mox.
5 seconds. Kelly, step back, got it! Huge bucket just before the break when North Carolina needed it, but man, is this a ball game underway at John Paul Jones?
Amy Reese, Dawn Staley, Monica Wright. These are names etched in history, not just at UVA, but in the NCAA women's basketball.
Oh, what a defensive play. This Virginia team has been able to come up with stops in critical moments in this game, and that's something that Coach Mox has been looking for from her group, being able to dig in and get those stops, especially to end runs, but also in critical moments of the game. To shift momentum, they've been able to do that.
Yeah, the defense has been stellar. Coach Mox has to be pleased with her effort from the defensive end. Katie Powley just off the mark from the three-point line, but Paris Clark, unbelievable.
A little miscommunication, unfortunately. Now it's Kelly out in transition, goes up, gets the foul.
And that is the 4th personal on Mo Johnson. I actually thought she could have stepped in and taken the charge. Elects to try to go for the block instead, which you question at this point in the game. Still 9 minutes to play in the 4th.
Johnson having a word with the officiating crew, didn't like the call, showing some frustration as Kelly hits the free throw, but those fouls could add up here down an important stretch for this Virginia team. You've got Johnson with 4 and Clarkson with 4, 2 of their starters.
And you go back to the last time these two teams played, and Cam Taylor was the one in foul trouble. That has been consistent through her time so far this season, but she fouled out early in the game and was limited in minutes because of fouls. So now you're seeing another star player in Johnson having to take a seat.
Last time these teams met 2 weeks ago, it was an 81-68 win for North Carolina back on their home floor. 4 players for Virginia hit double figures, but it wasn't enough. As Smith runs through traffic. Foul call.
And Smith, not a strong three-point shooter, so she had the shot, but would rather put the ball on the floor and go to the rim. Almost picked up a charge call. She just went in barreling to the basket. That's something Coach Mox talked to us about. That's what she saw that she didn't like in that Pittsburgh game. Against Florida State, they would drive in, the double would come, and they would kick it. Against Pittsburgh, they just tried to battle their way to the rim, and they would pick up offensive fouls. So Smith's got to be careful, especially as we are late in this game situation.
Smith misses the second. So it's a 2-point lead here for Virginia. Foul called on the screen. And that's a 4th personal. Got some rowdy fans sitting right behind us. They were getting into this game.
A moment ago, we're so frustrated with the refs, and then at that call said, oh, man, I love these refs.
So Reniya Kelly gets called for her 4th, but how about the response? Brunelle, outstanding all day long.
She'll take them any way she can get them off the glass or not, but what a great attack. Wow, Navarre has been playing so well, getting to the bucket. She has stopped the momentum with this drive and foul. Goes by Nguyen, definitely has the quickness advantage there, gets an opportunity at a three-point play.
Navarre, you see that quick first step, the change of direction, so difficult to guard, but keep in mind she has 4 fouls. Reniya Kelly now with 4 fouls, who's leading her team in scoring with 15 points. Navarre into double digits in scoring as well. She has 10, so both teams now with some key players who are going to have to be very careful on the defensive end here in this fourth quarter.
And in particular in the fourth, because once you get to 5, you're shooting 2 every time a foul is called. We're sitting at 2 for both teams right now.
Kelly with the lane to the basket, no. Foul on the challenge for the rebound.
I don't know how Deja Kelly missed that layup. She was trying to get contact with the defender on her back. She misses, goes right into Paris Clark, thinking she might pick up a foul, but instead going over the back is Navarre, and that is 5 now on her.
India Navarre with 10 points has fouled out of this game. Went 3 for 5 from the floor. Got a couple chances at the charity stripe, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Or 3 rebounds rather, no assists, but she is now out of this game. And for a North Carolina team, too, that isn't going very deep into their bench, that can hurt them down this stretch.
And not the case on the other side. UVA has been known consistently for their bench production. Game in and game out, they go to the bench early and often. And right now, you're seeing a lot of non-starters on the floor for UVA.
Non-starters who've also been able to produce, been able to score, as Smith is going to wait this one out a little bit, burn the clock, splits the defense. Brown able to keep it in play. 5 on the shot clock. Clark. Oh, what a shot! Paris Clark takes it herself.
The crowd in this arena, the fans are on their feet, so excited after that 3. And then the stop for UVA.
Smith going to slow it back down. Now there was an opening there to get to the basket, but at the same time, for this North Carolina team, you can't afford misses early in the shot clock, immediately giving Virginia another opportunity on the offensive end.
And we watched that in the second quarter. North Carolina coming down, putting up quick shots, not taking any time off the shot clock at all, and then they'd get a stop and UVA would take it on offense.
3 on the shot clock now. Smith from the elbow, no. O-board. Brunelle. Yes! Virginia extends the lead to 9.
Such a different story than when these two teams met 2 weeks ago. And without the star, Cam Taylor still able to maintain this lead, and they force UNC into a tough shot. UVA comes up with it.
My goodness.
So the kick to Paris Clark didn't seem like she was going to get it off with a good look at it. Defense was there. Mo Johnson getting everyone on their feet. And then off the offensive rebound, Sam Brunelle, another 3. That's 11 now for the Hoos.
Her dad ended up emailing me and letting me know how much that meant to his daughter, and I think that was one of those moments where you take a step back and you're like, wow, like, you know, we go through what we go through as athletes, and sometimes it's easy to just get caught up in it, but at the same time, we're doing something that's bigger than ourselves, and we're inspiring and motivating young girls to want to do what we're doing, and to hopefully one day be better than us. So.
Sam Brunelle embracing that role as a role model to future Hoos and young basketball players and just girls in general. She has 14 points in this one, and she is closing in on her season high, which was 15. She did it against LSU. So it goes to show how she's able to rise to the occasion, and this moment isn't too big for her as she stays in the game, and this team's going to need a lot from her, especially with a couple of players in foul trouble. 3 with 4 fouls for the Cavaliers as Smith makes the free throw. This team's going to look for a lot from Brunelle. And you mentioned you talked to her as well, right, Kelly?
Yeah. she told me how impressed she was with all these alumni that had come back, and she went to the event last night, and she was able to just glean so much. You know, they came to practice actually and offered some encouragement, some tips. And she said one player in particular who had battled injuries said, you just got to find the ways that you can contribute, and that really stuck with her, and she's doing that today.
Oh, Reniya Kelly, a player who's delivering on the other side for the Tar Heels, does it again. Mentioned it, every single basket she's putting up a new career high. 10 was the number for her coming into this game. She now has 18.
She's been hard to stop, and she's playing with so much confidence. Just a young freshman in this ACC that has freshmen galore that have made an impact early.
5 on the shot clock. Time running out. Brown. Corner 3 is offline. 8-point lead for the Hoos. Tar Heels with a chance to close the gap here. Reniya Kelly brings the efficiency to 7 of 11 from the floor, 4 of 6 from three-point land as Deja Kelly goes to the ground. He's a cop, she's a con, and together this unlikely duo makes the perfect pair. Watch Wild Cards this Monday at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, only on the CW. Stream free now on the CW app. And right here inside of John Paul Jones Arena, the Virginia Cavaliers, maybe wild cards, about to pull off an upset. They proved they could do it in that Florida State game. Florida State ranked at the time just 1 week ago today. And Coach Mox mentioned the biggest difference in that game was just that her team was locked in. She said every timeout early in the game, the Deja Kelly shot won't go. Her team was executing. They were so focused, and every timeout when she was giving them instructions, they were doing it when they got out on the floor and just playing with a lot of intensity and emotion. And that's what we've seen in this game after that slow start.
Yeah, and you want to see growth, and you mentioned that. They did have a slow start, so you thought, same as before, that they would come out sloppy in the second and third, but that has not been the case. They have battled back and been consistent in their effort.
Poole. Doubled, tripled, jump ball called. What a game underway in Charlottesville. Virginia holding the 8-point lead at over 20th ranked North Carolina midway through quarter number 4. A big question mark here moving forward is the freshman guard Reniya Kelly. She's been outstanding, but she's playing with 4 fouls now.
Yeah, she's got 18 points, hit a 3 there, but she has been hard to stop. However, she cannot get one more foul or she will be stopped for the game, sitting at 4 in a game that seems very physical, and the officials have been calling a lot of fouls.
Pointed out that the depth also an issue for North Carolina, as they typically have been playing at least the last couple games in light of a couple injuries in the backcourt, 8 deep. India Navarre has already fouled out. In their last game, their win over Miami on Thursday, this North Carolina team only got 1 bench point, and it was from Navarre, in fact. All 5 starters scored in double figures. Not the case today. Maria Gakdang, a player with only 4 so far. And it's interesting, last time these teams played, Coach Mox felt like her team did a good job shutting down the post. She said Usby was able to get a little bit going, but she felt like they were pretty strong down there. And that's been the case today. It's Kelly, well, both Kellys, Deja and Reniya, unrelated, and Alyssa Usby, who are in double digits in scoring. But they're already short one of their key bench pieces in India Navarre, who was fouled out. So it's a 10-point lead now for the Hoos. 4 and change to go. Kelly goes down, no foul. Johnson the board.
Kelly normally so consistent in that mid-range game, and she has not been able to hit the shots that we've seen her make, especially these last 5 games. We mentioned it early, averaging over 23 points a game. So playing well, just not today.
At 27 the last time these two teams met. 7 on the shot clock. Foul called. Offensive foul called.
And if that's on Nguyen, that's 5.
That would be Odessa Nguyen's 5th. She had 5 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. And she is going to go to the bench. Nguyen has fouled out.
They called something like this earlier. This must be a point of emphasis for the officials. After the screen, she rolls, and because the player cannot get around her, they're calling that a foul. I think I used to do that consistently when I was in college. Great finish by Donarski.
Donarski now into just under double digits rather than scoring with a 2. She has 9. Clark almost losing it under pressure. Smith into the game, so another ball handler alongside Kymora Johnson.
And look how far out North Carolina is defending. Obviously, UVA trying to take time off the clock.
5 of the shot clock. Smith from the corner, no. Fight for the rebound. Brunelle almost able to rip it away, runs into her own bench as it goes out of bounds. Eight-point lead here for Virginia. Under 3 minutes to play. Kelly from the free throw line, no.
And that's another situation. I know you need a quick shot, and maybe that's an okay shot, especially with the way she's been playing, but you want to find the right player to score, get the ball into your veterans' hands.
Clark with loads of space to take the 3. She's opted to pass it around to burn the time off. Smith, 7 on the shot clock, gets it inside, no.
I don't like that shot either.
Thing is, Clark passed up a couple of very open looks. Kelly in traffic, no. Full court pressure here from North Carolina. Virginia 0 for 4. They've got a 2+ minute scoring drought going here. And that's where you wonder, do you take the open shot regardless of where you're at in the shot clock?
I think you do if you're North Carolina, if you're UVA, because you don't want to play not to lose. That's a great look right there. So much defense out top, trying to double. Leaves the baseline wide open. Good high-low look. UVA's gotten that a few times today.
Great pass as well. Brunelle put her hands up after delivering that one beautifully. Fight for the rebound. Johnson has it, immediately pressured. Finds Clark, plenty of time under the basket, gets it to go.
What
the
a
crowd at John Paul Jones Arena on their feet.
And I think in particular because it's the 50th anniversary of the history of this program. So these players are playing in front of greatness, and they have got some players on the floor for UVA that want to do some big things, trying to restore the glory, and looking about a minute 12 away from an upset.
A second consecutive top 25 upset on the line for this Virginia team in consecutive Sundays. So to come in and to be able to beat Florida State a week ago really invigorated the confidence of this group. And that's something Coach Mox talked about. They had lost a number of games in a row in ACC play. They feel like they have the talent, but it's the ability to bring the intensity and play a complete game. They proved they could do that in that game, and they were able to finish it off as they now take a 14-point lead. Offensive foul called on Usby.
4 fouls now on Usby. Debbie Ryan looking on and loving it. She is not just here today as a fan, she is here often. She is very much a part of this program still. Coach Mox said they have a great relationship, and she loves when she can talk to her about all things coaching.
Nice pass, Brunelle. Brings it back out, under a minute to go. Virginia on the cusp of a huge top 25 upset. Clarkson offline. Smith fighting for the rebound, goes to the ground. The bench on their feet. Saturday, the 2024 Live Golf season is back and better than ever as John Rahm joins Brooks Koepka, Brian DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson, and the rest of the Live Golf superstars. Live Golf tees off Saturday at 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, right here on the CW. Smith going to the free throw line here. Usby has fouled out. She was called for that last foul on the loose ball, or rather it was Smith coming up with the loose ball, but she is fouled out. That was her 5th as Smith makes the shot. Not that it matters much, this Virginia team with a comfortable lead with under 40 to play. Kelly's shot rolls out.
It's been that day, especially in the second half for North Carolina. There were a few possessions that you had the right people taking the shots, but they just weren't falling. And this is the day that UVA had last time these two teams met 2 weeks ago. Really poor shooting percentage. Meanwhile, North Carolina was shooting hot, but definitely cooling off as the day has continued.
Just under 8 seconds to go. John Paul Jones Arena fans on their feet. The Virginia Cavaliers closing out the final seconds of a huge top 20 upset. There it is, the final buzzer.